Hi, Kevin here. Well, this morning we're going to fix an almond pie. And instead of using butter in the crust, I'm going to use coconut oil. Yeah, I made a coconut oil crust last night, and to my shock and delight, it actually worked out really, really well. So here's the crust recipe, and then we will make the filling. All right, so the first thing you need to do is grease your pie plate with just a tiny, and I do mean tiny, amount of coconut oil. And then you want to measure out a ½ cup of the coconut oil. I'm getting low here, but I have 2 more jars on hand. And let me show you the consistency. So you absolutely do not want to melt the coconut oil. It should be soft enough to be scoopable. Okay, but it shouldn't be so hard that it makes, those hard clumps. And mine is at room temperature, so it is scoopable. And just pack it into the measuring cup. This is a ½ cup measure here. If I have enough. Almost. Okay, hang on. I have to open up another jar of this coconut oil. Okay, by hook or by crook, I managed to scrape out just enough from this jar of coconut oil to measure a ½ cup. Okay, and before we add the coconut oil, I have to add a ½ teaspoon of salt. Now this is 1½ cups of flour here. In case I forgot to mention that. I'm going to give this just a quick whisk to combine. There. We will call that combined. Then add the coconut oil. Plop. I don't know why I'm wiping my hand, because I'm going to stick it right in this bowl. Okay, so the easiest way to cut the coconut oil into the flour is just with your fingers, like this. You're just mashing the coconut oil into the flour. And this doesn't take long at all. You're just looking for a crumbly mixture. Yeah, I should mention that although the coconut oil crust worked out really well, I mean, it was crisp, it was not as delicious as an all butter pastry dough for obvious reasons. Butter has a lot of flavor. Coconut oil does not. In fact, the crust had no discernible flavor at all to me. Okay, we're already mixed. What did that take? 20, 30 seconds? So it's nice and crumbly. Then have to add ice water. So here I have an ice cube and some water. I'm going to start with 3 tablespoons of water. And then we will add more if we need it. Remember that all flours are different. White lily flour, which is made from soft winter wheat, and that's what I'm using here, is different from, let's say, gold medal flour or Pillsbury all-purpose flour, which is made from hard winter wheat. Okay, and we will need, hold on, that's my dishwasher. No, it wasn't my dishwasher, it was my coffee maker, alerting me that the coffee is brewed. You now need to add more water. So there's 4 tablespoons. And we're just looking for the dough to come together and clean the sides of the bowl. How are we now? Now I think I need just a little more water, maybe just half a tablespoon. Try this. Yes. So that was, what was that? 4.5 tablespoons, I think. I lost count. I hope you were counting. All right. Okay, then form this into a ball. Then I'm going to set this aside while I fetch my pastry cloth. I'm also going to wash my hands. All right, here's my pastry cloth, and I have lightly floured it, and I have some, well, we'll call this emotional support flour that I'm going to keep over here just in case I need it. Now, the first time I rolled out this crust, I rolled it between sheets of cling film, and it rolled out perfectly. And the second time I rolled it between cling film, it did not cooperate at all. So I'm going to go back to my beloved pastry cloth and see how this performs, and we will hope for the best. So I'm just flattening this into a disc, and I'm going to shore up the sides. You do not have to chill this dough. I should say, mercifully, you do not have to chill this dough in the way that you always have to chill an all butter pastry dough. Okay. Now I am going to put a little more flour on here because I do not want the crust to stick, but I also don't want the crust to be really floury. And then I have my rolling pin, and we're going to roll this into a 12-inch diameter circle because my pie plate is 9 inches. Actually, I guess we could roll it into an 11-inch circle. You always roll the crust 2 inches wider than the diameter of your pan. Let's see how this behaves on the pastry cloth. So far, so good. Can you see all right? Wonder if I need to zoom in a little. Maybe not. Okay. Make sure we're not sticking here. We are not. Now, if the crust separates, just put it together and then shore up the sides. I'm going to do my best to roll this into a circle, but if it ends up being some other shape, that's fine too, because we can always catch the crust after it goes into the pie plate. Well, this is rolling out pretty well. Now let's test here. Actually, I'd like to turn it this way. I do believe this is going to work. So now, let's see if it will let me fold it into a triangle. Yes. Okay. Yeah, as with all things, practice makes perfect. And I am a newbie to coconut oil crusts. Now you don't want to stretch the crust. Just ease it into the pie plate. Yeah, if you stretch the crust, then when it hits the heat of the oven, it will just pull back on you. Okay, this looks pretty good. Now let's see if I have to do any patching. So first I'm just going to press the dough into the contours of the pan. And then I've got quite a bit of overhang here. Fetch my scissors. I'm going to cut this, about a ½ inch from the edge of the pie plate. But not too much, because I don't want to waste this dough. And also, I'm one of those people who really likes a thick-sided crust, or rather a thick-edged crust. Got a lot of overhang over here. All right, well, we're going to see if we can make that work. So I only removed this amount. And over here. Then take the top and fold it over. You know, one of my YouTube subscribers left a comment after I published the butter crust apple pie recipe the other day. She asked, or he asked, if I had ever made a pie crust with coconut oil. And I said, no, I had not. He or she also asked if I thought it would work, and I said I didn't know because I hadn't tried it. And you know, I don't like to guess. I like to be really honest. So I thought I should give it a try, and I was really surprised at how well it worked out. Okay, now I'm going to try to give this a bit of a decorative edge. So I'm just going to pinch the dough together like this. Yeah, if you can't have butter, or if you are afraid of butter, and I know some people are afraid of butter, then maybe this crust is for you. I still say the very best fat to use for pastry crusts, particularly for pies, is good old Crisco shortening. Okay, so there's my semi-decorative edge. It's not too shabby. All right, I'm going to set this aside and then we can make the filling. All right, we're getting ready to make the almond filling, and my oven is preheating to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. So the first thing you need is 3 large eggs, and you want to crack them into a largish bowl and then whisk them really well. First break up the yolks and then just violently beat them. This almond filling is pretty much identical to the filling that you would use for a pecan pie. I'm mildly allergic to pecans, so I just substitute almonds. All right, I think we're whisked enough here. And then, while whisking, add 2/3 cup of sugar. It may seem like a lot of sugar, but we didn't add any sugar to the pie crust. Okay, then we need some salt, not much, about 1/4 teaspoon. Beat that in, and then I'm going to add 5½ tablespoons, or 1/3 cup, of melted butter. Okay. And now, in the measuring cup that held the butter, I'm going to pour, turn it around here, 1 cup of corn syrup. Now this is not high fructose corn syrup, just regular corn syrup. And the reason I'm using the buttered measuring cup is so that the corn syrup will come out easily. There. Came out very easily. This is getting nice and thick. This is obviously a very rich dessert. Okay, then we need 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is my own homemade extract, and I'm at the very end of it. So I need to make some more vanilla extract. Or, heaven forbid, I might have to go to the supermarket and just buy it already made. And finally, we need 1 cup of sliced almonds. So I'm going to remove this whisk and exchange it for a spatula. Guess I'll use a blue spatula. And then just stir the almonds so that they are completely coated with this lovely batter. All right, here's the pie shell. Pour this into the shell. Yum. I think I could drink this batter. It smells terrific. Certainly sweet enough. When I was a little boy, my mother routinely gave me Karo corn syrup to put on pancakes and waffles. Boy, did I love corn syrup. That was a long time ago. All right, this is going to go on the bottom rack of the preheated 400-degree oven for 15 minutes. Now I'm putting it on the bottom rack so that the burst of heat will help to set the pie crust. After 15 minutes, let me talk with you. Move this up. Okay, yeah, so after 15 minutes, lower the oven temperature to 350 degrees and then continue baking for another 45 to 50 minutes. So the crust should turn lightly brown and the filling is going to puff up and fill the pie shell. All right, and I should mention that if after about 30 minutes you notice that the crust is not turning brown, you can always move the pie onto the center rack of the oven. Okay, so that's 15 minutes at 400 degrees and then turn the oven down to, did I say that right? 15 minutes at 400 degrees. Then turn the oven down to 350 degrees and continue baking for 45 to 50 minutes. Okay, I'll see you when this pie gets done. And here's the pie straight out of the oven. It looks tempting. And here's the crust. The crust held its decorative edge. Yay! All right, I'm going to let this cool and then we'll come back and have a taste of it. All right, we are ready to try this pie. And I'll admit, this is a very large slice of pie. But I wanted you to be able to see this crust. Yeah, it's really crisp and it's a little bit flaky. Here we go. This is really amazing. So good. And the bottom crust did get totally baked. It's a little crispy too. So I would say this coconut oil crust is pretty darn good. Not as good as an all butter pastry crust, but certainly healthier than an all butter pastry crust. One more bite. I hope you don't mind. And as always, I wish you were here to share this with me. Well, I hope you will give this pie a try. And even if you don't want to use my almond filling, at least make, or at least experiment with, a coconut oil crust. So thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time. Bye for now.